You already know how to create classic QR codes, but you wish to make them look more customized and impactful. The genie of the AI lamps is here to show you how to elevate your design using generative AI. So first, what are QR codes? So it stands for Quick Response Codes. It was created in 1994 in Japan by these guys, Masahiro Hara, and then it became ISO IEC standards with several versions. It's supposed to be inspired by the Go game, where you have a black squares pattern on a white background, and you have one black square representing one, a value of 1, and a white square, a value of 0, so it's a binary encoding. It's a 2D evolution of barcodes, and we can store numeric, alphanumeric, binary, or kanji content. So it's encoded in binary, but the content can be in different format. And it exists in different sizes or versions of QR codes, from the version 1, which is a 21 by 21 square, to the version 40, which is 177 by 177. And each version is 4 times wider than the previous one. And it has also a built-in error correction mechanism that will be very useful for the rest of what we want to do right now. The anatomy of the QR code is like that. You have certain elements that are there and enforced by the norm to make sure that the QR code is recognizable and scannable by a scanner. So for identification and focus, you have the quiet zone, which is this white zone around the code. You have also positional markers, 3 of them. You also have alignment pattern, like this one, depending on the size. You see here we have a version 2 of the QR code. So you have one pattern of this type. You also have the timing pattern, this kind of dotted lines you have there that help to specify the size of a module, and the module are the basic square where you encode the data. You also have some reserved part in the QR code that are there to store the version on the format, and in the format you will have specified the level of error correction and also the mask pattern. And then we start filling the code starting from this bottom right square, and then so this was a 0, a 1, and then it goes this way like in zigzag, etc., etc. Right? So for the error correction, and I won't detail the mask pattern and other things here, but the error correction is very useful for us. We'll see why in a few. There are some additional data that is added to the code in the form of new rows and new columns, and so it will increase the size of the code and maybe the version. But then it's a mechanism which compensates any missing data. All right, it's implemented with the error correction code of Reed Solomon, which is a polynomial and finite field mathematics, and it's used in storage, like for instance for CD and DVD, or RAID 6 for storage disks, but also in network communication, like in DSL or satellite communication. Basically, it's like a CRC, or it's a code where you can deduce even if you don't have the whole content of the code words. So code words are 8-bit long, and they are made of data or correction codes. And there are 4 levels of correction available, and depending on the level, here are the percentage of errors that are possible to have. So meaning that if a high level of error correction, you can have up to 30% of your QR code that can't be read, but the content will be deduced by using the error correction code and so the data correction codes also, right? And this is what is used to inject images in a QR code, like for instance, here it's the same one, but I hide the logo of Worldline in the middle, and so this part of the QR code will be processed as an error. So it means that because it's less than 30% of the size of the QR code is still readable by scanners, right? So now let's speak about generative AI, and what we'll do is we'll use image generation to generate and enhance, embellish an existing QR code. So for that, I'll use Stable Diffusion. That is a family of image generation models, so using progressive denoising of a latent image. Here you can see. And that will be used in ComfyUI. So this is a ComfyUI workflow. And here you see the image that is being denoised step by step, right? So it's a family of open model. And with ComfyUI, it's very easy to execute and to create a workflow on your own PC, for instance. And it's open source, like GPL3 ComfyUI, right? For our use case here, what I'll use is a specific ControlNet, which are specialized neural networks that gives more guidance and control to the generation process by injecting or transferring only certain features of an image. All right, so it allows to have a hybrid approach between textual indication, like the prompt, that's what you want, and visual references. So you give an image in input, and I'll use the QR code monster ControlNet. That is a ControlNet that is specialized, and that is the description they give on their website. This model is made to generate creative QR codes that still scan. All right, so let's give it a try. What I want to do right now in ComfyUI is edit an existing QR code with a prompt. So here I am in ComfyUI. I load the checkpoint, which is the model. I have my prompt. I say, yes, I want a beautiful landscape, blue sky, grass, and flowers. Here in the negative prompt, I specify what I don't want to see in the QR code. Here is my ControlNet with my input image of a QR code that already exists. I can set and tweak a few parameters here. And here I load the ControlNet. So I use Stable Diffusion 1.5 and I use the QR Monster ControlNet here. Then everything is sent in the case sampler. I have several values, so I will generate in 50 steps. I give a CFG, so this is the importance, the impact of the prompt in the generation process of 5, and then I launch the generation here. So what is going? Everything is generated into the latent space, and then the image is generated according to my prompt and also to the input image of the QR code I gave. And here I am. So here I do have the landscape, I do have the blue sky, the grass, the flowers, and you see how the ControlNet and Stable Diffusion try to mix everything and still have the QR code that is readable. So you can try if you have a QR code scanner right now and see how it goes. So just to summarize what we did, we just edited a QR code, an existing one with a prompt. So the input image, the description, and here's the result. And of course, I can modify the prompt. So here are the results that are obtained by just modifying the prompt, but not the other parameters, not even the seed. And so when I ask for a futuristic building with neon glows, here's what I get here on the left. And so you can see I can have an impact on the style of it. And then I try to have an impact on the content. So I ask for a couple, dancing tango, etc., etc. And here you can see, okay, but that's not exactly what I wanted because I wanted only one couple. But you see how the ControlNet is trying to fit the description within the frame of the QR code, right? So I can edit with a prompt coming from an LLM to have a larger, more precise description. So here are a few results. So still the same workflow, the same parameters, only the prompt has been enhanced with the output of a LLM. So here's, for instance, a pattern with molten lava or things like that, or here a kind of a glowing elven door with, integrates inspired, nature-inspired patterns and stuff like that. So that's interesting, but we can go a little bit further, but using another custom node in ComfyUI that is called iTools Prompt Stylers Extra. And it's just a way to inject very easily predefined prompt in my workflow, and they are in different categories like 3D arts, craft, drawing, painting, sculpture, vectors, and stuff. And here's the detail, you know. So it's just like, instead of having to type all these keywords in my prompt, I just use, with this custom node, I select the category I want and then the style I want to inject. And then by using this and changing my workflow, so I just add this new custom node in my workflow. Here, for instance, okay, I want to have a craft category, and then in this category, I want to use, let's say, metalwork, okay, and I fix the seed. So when I change the style, I just want to see the impact of the prompt. So all the other parameters will be the same. And here is the generation process going on. And here it is. So you see, it's a kind of metallic style, so very easy to change. Now I want to try something else. Let's say, what would it be? Maybe knitting art. Here. So you see, so of course, I could change the color and stuff by playing on the prompt, but I just want to see how easily we can change really the style. Here now, for instance, let's say I want, I don't know, let's say origami style. So I just changed one parameter. And here it is. Well, it's not really origami, but it's like a paper-made QR code of some kind. And let's finish this demo with a mosaic pattern, like Roman ancient mosaic. Oh yeah, I like this one. Very interesting. So you see, it's quite easy to change the style by playing with the prompt. So making your own prompts or using like extension or custom nodes like this one to have it done it very easily. And here are some examples that I made with this custom node by changing only the style. So yeah, we can change the style. Now I'd like to have control also on the image that I can insert within the code, because you understood that with the error correction code we can have some images also. So for that I'll use an additional ControlNets. This time I want to transfer also an image. So let's say it's a yoga pose here. I want to transfer this pose into my QR code. For that I will use one ControlNet that will inject the characteristic of depth of the image, and another one who will do the edge detection. By combining those two ControlNets, I will be able to inject the pose inside the QR code. Let's see how it goes. So here, so I still have my workflow. I just added the blue part at the bottom here. All right. So with my input image of a yoga pose, actually it's the tree pose in yoga, right? And here you see I have my two additional ControlNets here. So here's my image. The first one is a depth ControlNet. So I apply a depth preprocessor to the image. And then the second one is the canny edge. So it's an edge detection. I put 60% and 50% of strength to those two ControlNets, and this characteristic of depth and edges will be extracted from the image, as you see here, and these information then are injected in the generation process of the sampler as and associated with my prompt and with my initial QR code. So you can see here, it's interesting because this QR code is still working. I'm trying to have it look like myself. The hair is a little bit too white, so I put in the negative prompt remove, don't put too much white hair. What you can see here, yes, a little bit more interesting. So it's interesting because now my workflow is becoming a little bit more complex, but then I also have control on the content, and it's very nice. So basically what I wanted to do is a QR code with me doing a yoga pose, but with a QR code that is still working, right? So by adding first ControlNet for the QR code and then two other ControlNets for the pose transfer, and with this prompt, so one man, mixed race, short curly hair and stuff, then I have this result, right? So now, what if I really want to also transfer my face? So I want to use this image of myself a few years ago to make sure that the character in the QR code will look a little bit more like me. For that, I use another technique which is called image prompt adapter or IP adapter, who will use an existing image as a prompt and also extract some characteristic, and for that I use the Face ID adapter, that is a facial recognition model, right? And then I also use in my workflow, as we will see, a face detailer, that is a post-generation processing model that will enhance a little bit more the eyes, nose, lips, and facial expression in general, right? So let's see the workflow now. So the new nodes are now in yellow. Here I have the Face ID on the top, and then the face detailer. And so from the Face ID will be injected also in the face detailer to for the image, generated image, to be refined, but based on my initial image that I injected here. So here we can see what the Face ID, so the IP adapter. You have a lot of parameters that you can set up here, to which version of the Face ID model you want to use, what is the strength, when does it start in the generation process, when does it end, and stuff. But here's the results. So it's looking a little bit more like me, and then this result is also sent now in the face detailer, so after generation, to be enhanced, but still based on my initial image. And here's the result, because I've put a node after and before to compare the image after and before the face detailer, and you see, yes, the quality is far better, and it's looking a little bit more like me. Maybe when I was a little bit younger, but still, that's interesting. Right, so it means that I'm also able to add face transfer to my workflow. So I have the transfer of the QR code, I have the transfer of the pose, the yoga pose, with to add additional control nets. I have also the transfer of my face with the IP adapter, Face ID, and I still have my prompt. So very interesting, because of course now we can combine also, so I can change the style. So by adding, the eye toolbox, I can also change the style. So for instance, this is a result with craft goblin tapestry or watercolor, or a more abstract version of the QR code. So sometimes the generated QR code won't be very readable. You have to play a little bit with the parameters, fine-tune the stuff. But it's quite easy to really, really be creative and have a very interesting QR codes. Very nice. And what if I want to animate a little bit the QR code? So let's say I want to animate my face. That's possible with the Advanced Live Portrait custom node that allows to edit, insert, animate facial expressions. So here, for instance, you can change. So having my generated QR code already, so it's on the image that is already generated. You can tweak a little bit the things. So you see, I want me, because it's me, to blink. Now here I change, and okay, let's have the big smile. Here you see the smile. So you can define what is the final image you want in your generation workflow, and then you launch the workflow here. So here's my input image that was generated by my previous workflow. Here's the modification I want to make on my face, and then here the Advanced Live Portrait PHM node will generate the sequence, all the intermediate frames from my output image to the result. So you have a code like how many frames, how many time it will take. So motion 1 is my input for image, and motion 0, and motion 1 is the result. And then I want a 15 frame rate, so I generate everything. So when the workflow is finished, the video has been generated. Here I ask for the image GIF format, and then you can use this result, and it generates something like that. Interesting, okay? So you can see here, yes, of course, it's moving a little bit the background, so I could tweak or I could reduce, the impact or the strength also of the advanced portrait node. But it's very interesting to see the result that you can have, right? So that's it for now. keep making wishes and maybe the GenAI's lamp will fulfill them. Bye bye.